Well then, with that race done, it's time to go home. I hate you. This is your fault. I hate you so much, you absolute inconsiderate piece of... Hi! You've caught me in a massive pickle. See, I aim to own all properties on the West Coast, despite being limited to shells sold in Joe Smash Rollers. Today, I plan to buy Chinatown Overflow as it is the cheapest option available. In celebration of last time's success, I took to the car shop and looked for something truly race-worthy, like the Civita Elite. Lightweight, mid-engine, that is perfect for me. But it was not there. So, I bought the Bastion's shell instead and got to work. What will I give to drive one of those?
Well, money I reckon.
Oh, sorry. Didn't recognize you there.
Come on, don't you know me? After all the cars you bought in my place?
Wait, you're Joe? I'll never thought to see you in person. So, even after everyone else banned me from buying their cars, why are you still allowing me to buy yours?
Son, when did I ever let other businesses tell me what to do? Besides, if they want nothing to do with you, then it's more business for me.
Wow, thank you, Joe. Without you and your business, I'll have gone nowhere in this town.
Save it, kid. All I did was treating the customer right.
The Bastion had been restored, complete with a wide body kit, racing tires, and suspensions to ensure maximum handling. I immediately headed to the racetrack to earn that money back. And man, this Bastion had exceeded all of my expectations. I was sure this car would be my new champion on the racetrack. I mean, look at how I got through the S's. Smooth as butter, yet quick as lightning. Once I dealt with the final chicane of the layout, I gunned down to score a personal record of the track and score at least $1,000. But much to my horror, the reward for completing that lap had been cut down by 90%. Streaks, you might ask. If time attacks now earn you pennies, how are you going to make money? Should you just pivot out from racing and do anything else? No! We are here for fast cars and even faster action! Besides, there is a new way. Say hello to free roam contracts. In here you can choose to sign up for contracts that will have you meet target lap times in select courses and cars. With how fast this car is, these contracts should be easy peasy. Or so I thought. Guys, do you see something amiss? That's right, none of these contracts featured the Bastion model. But I ran the Bastion anyway. Maybe if I keep on doing this, contracts featuring this model would start to appear.
Failure.
That was unfortunate. Lucky for me, I still could drive back home and have this car repaired. But something weird was happening. It didn't get repaired, acting as if I hadn't made that insurance claim. Upon digging deeper, I found this. Afterwards, I deemed the Bastion to be cursed by early access jank. It cannot earn money from contracts, which at this point should be my bread and butter. It cannot be fixed, and I cannot even customize it anymore. So, I decided to sell this car for quick cash and buy something else. In the car shop, I found an interesting model, the ATK 800 series. It should be a rear-wheel drive, it also gets some muscle in it, and has an ABS system. I figured this would be my next weapon of choice. Once I got home, I started to work on the ATK. But I had to exclude the engine unit for now, as I want these contracts to gravitate towards my new car instead of this old one. I installed cargo parts on the Pasima and tried out delivering parts instead. So, loaded with the things that I needed to deliver within my convenience, I sped past the roads and got to my first destination. Then, I found a race brewing. So, I signed in, and after completing the last of these deliveries, I rolled up, ready to do what I do best. The first race ever I will partake in this track, and I'm placed against interesting rivals. Right on the first corner, I made my first overtake. Right here, I cautiously tailed the Covent instead of going full baboon mode. On the right-hander, I went deep and squeezed past the yellow compact, placing myself in the podium despite the tiny hiccup. On the chicane, I got very close towards P2, yet there was no door for me to break into the silver medal yet. So, I tried going aggressive on the latter half, only to miss the checkpoint. And that's 11 seconds behind P1 in an underpowered, understeer-prone car. Okay, What's the worst that could happen? Knowing the absolute crisis I've gotten myself into, I put the hammer down. After a period of frenzy, I dove right down onto the corner and pulled myself up into the attacking range. Like before, I tailed the Corvette, taking in as much slipstream as I could, and with reckless abandon, I dive bombed right in, securing P4. On the straights, I pulled myself closer and performed a clean slingshot maneuver against the blue car. The problem then was this massive gap from how no one could check the current leaders of the race, and with the Pessima struggling to accelerate up the hill, things were looking grim. On the final lap's chicane, I had finally managed to catch up to the race leaders. Unfortunately, my overzealousness had led towards a nasty shunt towards the BX instead of an overtake, which had given him the slip on high-speed section, and unlike the other Pessima, that one was no pushover. But on the corner, I managed to pull myself close, and before the corkscrew, I mustered enough speed and successfully performed the slingshot maneuver before going down. Unfortunately, the SBR was already too fast and too far ahead to be caught, and after shrugging off the BX's last stand, I had to be happy with second place. Not ideal, but this should do. After a bit more racing, I've got enough money to install a beefy engine into my new car. Yes! Haha! Alright! Compared to my Pessima, this ATK 800 was a massive upgrade, and to make things better, there were some contracts that I could use with this car almost immediately. So, back to it. Wow! The speed this ATK has is crazy! The Pessima got nothing on this beast, despite that and the pure orchestra playing from under the hood. There were a few downsides I found concerning. Paired with such blistering power, the car's tires are struggling to tackle corners as intended. The stock brakes were also prone to fading upon extreme stress, which was made very clear as I launched the car to the stands around this sharp right-hander. With brakes this weak, it was clear that the usual braking point will not work under these conditions. At first, I thought of it as a one-time mistake from trying to get used to this car, but on the next lap, the brakes failed to slow the ATK enough to the point of sending me way off track right on the very first corner. To make things worse, the engine ran too hot as its radiator was not sufficient to handle consistent high speeds, which was detrimental if I were to take this car to high-speed actions. The ATK is a strong car with miles higher potential than my old Pessima, but currently, these issues are preventing me from completing my contract. So, I returned to the garage and got some upgrades. I returned to the racetrack. It turned out there was a race about to start here. The upgrades were really what the ATK needed. Racing tires meant great traction throughout the track. The sports-grade brakes, while still fading at extreme speeds, now provide enough stopping power for the car. And the radiator is doing a great job at keeping the engine safe. With race 1, I went after the contracts, which I could finally fulfill. With that addition to the bank, I could finally finish my new masterpiece. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the ATK 800 Series Coupe. Originally a 4-door sedan, I've converted this car to a 2-door coupe and did away with the passenger seat to reduce weight. This car is also armed with a 6.5-liter V8, providing over 480 horsepower, allowing a 0 to 60 time of 3.3 seconds, an absolute beast on the straights and a precise surgeon on the corners. The ATK 800 is ready to not only win, but also dominate. But this did not mean the end of my problems. If anything, this was just the first step of finishing them. For you see, the real goal for today was to buy the Chinatown Overflow, and since completing this car cost a lot of money, we were not even close to being halfway there. So, with the now complete machine, I returned to the racetrack, and after setting up a chain of high-paying contracts, I embarked on more hot lap sessions. I crossed the starting line with blazing speed, ensuring no time lost on warming up from zero. While they started to fade, they still slowed the car down enough for me to make that first corner properly. On the fourth corner, I applied the textbook racing line to ensure the car's pace was optimal. Before, I'll just slide all over. But with racing tires, those days are officially over. If there was one thing I've learned to do here, it was how to take chicanes as fast as I could. With a faster launch, I managed to save some time for caution for this blind corner and hold it all the way on the straights. This time, with better radiators, I could go all out and put the hammer down all to my heart's content. Down the corkscrew, I applied the similar trick, only on a more extreme level, relying on gravity to boost my car downhill. With these efforts and upgrades, I managed to score a lap time fast enough to earn my paycheck. Would you look at that? 10,000 bucks. With the normal track contracts done, I immediately jumped to the short track ones. So far, I was doing better than the contract expectation, but a problem was quietly brewing. I was running out of fuel. I thought I could get in a couple of laps before refilling, but then this happened. What the? Oh no. That's unfortunate. That's very unfortunate. I'm about to be stranded in the middle of the track. Oh no. Yep, the car has run out of fuel. Now, towing back to the garage would mean erasing a good portion of my winnings with no guarantee of fixing the problem. So, I legged it all the way to the nearest fuel station, thinking I could just buy a jerry can and refuel my car from it. But this is BeamNG. There is no such thing. So, after checking in with my intuition, I called in my Pessima, hauled to a gas station, and summoned my ETK over. And just like that, the day was saved, and all I had to pay was the gas money, with the ATK back from the dead. Back to it. To make up for the lost time, I blasted myself into the 7th lap with ludicrous speeds and stuck near to the curbs on the hairpin, ensuring least distances traveled. Across these S's, I acted calm and reasonable to negotiate with each corner with utmost precision. You see, this is why I wanted a rear-wheel drive. No more inherent understeer, no more struggling up the hills. This is close to what I would call the ideal car for the tracks. It's still not a mid-engine car of my dreams though, but man, this is close. On this right-hander, I relied on proper throttle control to guide this car through, following the correct racing line and ensured a pace fast enough to beat the target time. And after the final chicane, I put the hammer down and gave it all towards the finish line. And that's it. Another contract has been fulfilled. In a span of 15 minutes, I made over 47 grand. Mind you, a good portion of that had included the entire saga of running out fuel-induced confusion. And then, I found a race reserve for super tier cars. What better way to top this all off by proving this car got what it takes to tangle with the best of them. So, once the green light was lit, I launched off, immediately taking P4 away from the bastion. Right on the hairpin, the purple muscle car was through as well. Now, with me on the podium, came the challenge of beating an ATK and a tuned Pessima. I tailed them both down the S's, waiting for the right moment to strike without harming my own. For a moment, they put up a good fight, until the Pessima opened a gap big enough for me to dive in fast and come out slow before them both. Even after that double overtake, at least the tuned ATK was hot on my tail. I had to climb down the corkscrew ASAP, as at this rate, one mistake would mean defeat. On the second lap, I kept this pace up despite the engine damage I've somehow suffered, and managed to increase the gap even more, leaving even a fellow ATK driver in the dust. While I've won by a massive margin, the race had proven complete ATK dominance over the rest, showing the world what we were truly made of. Fly high, fellow ATK enjoyer, until we meet again. So, after the grind was done, I headed back home and somehow angered the local law enforcement. But in this car, did nothing. So, I went to the gas station as per... Ignore that. It's kind of funny on how none of the supposed Velasco's finest could think of catching me on foot or tow my car away. My car! Don't you think you're getting away with this, you overglorified donut eater? So, with the cops giving up, I casually strolled back to my car and refueled. And just like that, I get to go home safe and sound. I hate you. I hate you so much, you incompetent, asinine, inconsiderate piece of brainless shit! Well then, it was a good thing I had collected accident forgiveness like Pokemon cards. The ATK 800 had made racing lucrative again. With these winnings, I went to the Chinatown Overflow, and after testing the owner's blood pressure through this art of the deal type haggling, I had managed to buy the garage in full. Now, I was one step closer towards owning all of the properties this town has to offer. Despite the challenges born from both early access jank and my recklessness, we got it figured out. We now have 4 car slots that I could use to expand my reach. Maybe a D-series truck to dive deeper into the cargo delivery business, or an all-wheel drive to branch out to rally and off-road racing disciplines. Which is better in your opinion? Let me know in the comments, because with this new moneymaker, the possibilities are endless. Next time, I'll try and get the race paddock, just for its convenience factor alone, though its price tag alone could prove to be the hardest challenge this series has seen so far. Well, either that or an actual house.
Nice car. Also, that makes you the idiot who wrecked my ride.
Sorry, do I know you?
Screw you. I was the white ATK you ruined yesterday.
Oh, you mean the idiot that decided to park in the middle of the damn road?
You got the red light, asshole. Just watch your back. If I see you again, especially on the racetrack, I'll make sure you never drive again.
If you like what you've seen, check out the prequel of this video. I put it on a playlist, so you can watch the entire series in one go. I also played Gran Turismo 4, so you definitely got to check out the time I tried beating it with only a Dodge Charger. Go check them out, you'll like it.